Yeah. No.
Don't start rapping.
But,
you did last time we were here.
Something about the studio, man.
Let's go.
Brings out the music in.
Let's go.
Overheat.
Let's go. We're back. We in the shack.
I think that's
I'm
the
on
exact...
track. Living my life. Again.
I almost had a heart attack.
In the Oasis.
We last
Look at our
recorded.
faces. Next to the Oasis. Come on now, look at our faces. We're glad to be back. It's like turning into Dora the Explorer now.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody.
Wait, we also referenced last time we record here. You said, "Can you find the Annoyed podcast?"
Can you
host?
find the Annoyed podcast host? Now it's all of them. Hey guys, what's up? We're back. This is Successfully Unsigned. It's been a while since we've been back with you.
It's been a long minute.
We've missed you. Dale's missed everyone. Welcome back, Dale.
Yeah, he's been gone for a while. I was also gone for a little bit. Me and David were supposed to record something last week, which I won't reveal. But then I went into AFib, so which means my heartbeat was irregular, and I'm pretty young for that to happen. So, been a lot of crazy things going on lately.
Do we want to talk about why that happened?
Dale got a new hat.
Do we want to talk?
Don't.
We don't want to talk about why that happened.
No, I will. So, if any of our audience knows who Terry Joe is on TikTok, I was watching Terry Joe live, as one does, late at night, and I was drinking a really cold glass of water, and she said something out of pocket, as she usually does, and so I gasped and laughed, and I just gulped the water really quickly, and it sent me into AFib. So Terry Joe sent me into AFib.
This man laughed his way to the hospital.
Yeah.
Literally.
Oh,
So,
wow.
but I'm okay. I'm meeting with a cardiologist soon, so all hopefully should be good.
Well, I thought it was funny because I had a Mario thing that night, and he was his top concern was dude, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it tonight. And I'm
because I really wanted to go.
So
This man wanted to lose at Mario Kart that bad.
It's completely fine. You went into A. He's like, dude, I would love to go, but I'm in the ER. Dang it. And I'm like, it's fine. It's totally cool. We're glad you're okay.
Because I am such a social person, and so I'm that is. Well, also there was someone who's going to be there that night that we're wanting to possibly interview. So I want to meet her.
Yeah. She was there.
But literally, I had to leave for Georgia the next day with a group of friends for vacation. And when I went to the ER, the first thing I asked the doctor, I said, I have to leave at 5 a.m. tomorrow. Am I going to be able to make it? And he was like, yeah, you should be. I was like, okay, good.
This
I'm
man
good then.
almost died, and his first question is, can I go on vacation
I didn't
tomorrow?
almost die. The big issue with AFib is that you could get a stroke.
And die.
So you almost had permanent brain damage.
Yes.
Not dead, but
Almost?
just worse. But
We're
hey,
going to move on.
he's okay now. He's okay now. We're glad Patty's okay. We're glad Dale's back. We're glad to be back with you. It's been way too long away from you guys. Hope you've enjoyed the content that we've done. If you haven't already, go back, listen to the episodes with Kyle and Mello, and listen to the Luke Robbins episode. And then I did a little tutorial video last week, which you should check out if you haven't already. It's just kind of, it's not, I say it's a tutorial. It's more of just playing around with Reason. And it was a lot of fun. So definitely check all of that out. Subscribe if you have not already to the channel. Follow us on Instagram, Successfully Unsigned. We do have a TikTok now that we've been pretty active on, thanks to Patty G over here. And
I've been slacking a little bit.
No, you killed it. And thank you to all who have liked the hot dog video, which is blowing up. It's still getting likes. It's 4,000. 4,000 a lot.
It's getting up there. I mean, it's at least 50K views.
That's crazy.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Thank you guys.
Yes, thank you guys. And thank you to David, our pal over here, who held the fort down while we were gone. He finally added some sounds, so we'll be hearing some new ones tonight.
These are all new.
He already showed me one. It might get us canceled. And he so he did the Missy performance. He did the Luke interview and performance, the Kyle episode, the tutorial, and he's literally been doing all of that while we've been gone, and even when we were back, and just sitting around. So thank you to David.
Big thanks to David, as we've been lazy. So much fun. But I am glad that all three of us are actually back on screen at the same time.
And doing an actual episode.
An actual episode.
Yeah.
This is the first time in...
The last one we did was like Getting Gigs. That was, I think it was
June?
episode 13.
June?
Yeah.
Probably.
End of June, early July?
And we're like in a different space again, which is nice. Like good to be back in our other studio.
Yeah.
So.
This is Studio Shack right here.
This is Studio Shack.
You'll get to see maybe, you can see a little bit more maybe this time behind me of where I do a lot of my production, my mixes, my artist recording, stuff like that. Desk right behind me. So
you should call this the desert, since the next room over is the Oasis.
That's true. It's the desert, the Oasis. I like it.
Dale he's building a little private room, like a secret Oasis where no one can find him ever.
I hope so. My phone will be on Do Not Disturb in a different room when I go in there. So I've over the last about the last week, I've taken a room that I had basically just been using for storage, and I went to garage sales and thrift stores and like places like that and picked up a bunch of just old stuff for cheap, and then like pots for cheap, and I went to the plant store and bought a bunch of plants and some string lights and
The plant store.
The plant store. I can't think of what they're called.
So just nature?
Nursery?
I mean,
nursery, yeah, that place. So I went to places like that,
Greenhouse?
bought a bunch of stuff because I'm like, if I
For
can't
his
have...
nursery.
Yeah, I got my binky in there too.
Ew, a binky. Ew.
ugh.
But all of this to convert that room into a place where I can go indoors, since I don't have a great place outside to make like my own little like secret garden. I can like do it in the spare room and go in there with a hammock and sleep.
Talking about nurseries, this is just me comment. I'm not gonna go into further context, but comment below if you ever watched Rainbow Quartz in high school, like ironically, like in a funny way. That's all I'm gonna say. If you don't know who she is, don't look her up.
I've never heard of her.
No. Shout out to my friend Mia who showed me who she was. And that's where we're gonna end it. Okay, so show and yell.
Show and yell.
Yay! Oh,
Who's going first?
I will go first and say that I don't have one.
Okay, well, you don't have one, but this. So I'm holding my. This is not a Squishmallow, but it is a knockoff Squishmallow that MTSU made. That we all went there, and I picked it up today because my friend Kate works at Textbook Brokers. Oh, it's so cute. Anyway, so this can be your item.
Oh, thanks.
So yell it out. Lightning is his name. Remember.
Lightning Squishmallow.
Wait, that actually works so well.
That's so like ethereal.
Yeah.
So ethereal.
Lightning is ethereal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, good job, David. Wow, that was
Thanks.
a really great
Yeah.
item. Thank you for letting me.
My friend Meg works at Textbook Brokers.
Oh, shout out to Meg.
That's where I
and
got
Kate.
her. Or him, or is it?
Yeah, Lightning's a boy.
Lightning's a boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You went to MTSU for like 4 years, bro. You don't even know Lightning's a boy?
But
You went for
I went
6 years and you didn't know the Lightning was a boy?
5, and he's been there since like 1887.
Yeah, it feels like it.
Yeah.
All right, what's your item, Dale?
My item, once again, I'm wearing it. But it is not what you might think.
That pause.
Oh, I did think it was gonna be the hat.
It's Waffle House
Upside down.
slides.
It's upside down.
Waffle House slides. I love these things. My sister got these for me and
Oh
gave
my
them.
goodness! I like the inside of it, like the checkerboard,
Oh yeah. It's got
like the floors.
checkerboard inside. It says Waffle House on the front. It says Waffle House on the side or on the bottom of it, and then the bottom's just like regular. But anyway, no, she gave these to me when I was gone in Oklahoma doing some work, and I thought they were really cool. And honestly, when I first picked them up and I looked at them and just looking at this, I'm like, man, that's cool, but that's not going to be a comfortable shoe. It looks like it's like hard plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But when you put it on, it's actually
Are they like
really comfortable.
officially Waffle House licensed?
I assume so. I mean,
if she
I
got
don't
them
know.
from like the website, that's probably why they're actually probably better quality than you'd think.
I have no idea where she got them.
They look real.
I don't know. I don't really care because they're cool and they're comfortable, and I'm all right with that. So, shout out to my sister for getting me some Waffle House slides to add to the collection.
Boom.
Is it me?
Yes.
Did you?
Hold on. Oh wait.
While you're doing that, Dale has a word of wisdom that he'd like to share with everyone.
I do.
Releases, and that change of tense attention to release is what gets people to come back. They're like, oh man, this. Okay, we're good. You know.
All right.
That's
Sorry.
a throwback. Okay.
It is. Well, I just posted a TikTok about it, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh,
Margot Robbie as Barbie. Okay, so since we've been gone, the Barbie movie has come out, and I now have lived. Never mind. I was gonna say something. Oh my goodness. I have now lived pre-Barbie. There's pre-Barbie Patrick, and now there's post-Barbie Patrick.
They're all scary.
And well, now I'm trying to. Okay, never mind. So there's BBM and ABM.
What are you trying to spell right now?
Before Barbie movie, after Barbie movie. So that's what it is.
Right there.
Okay.
Oh, I hope I didn't break it. I'm gonna be so mad if I did, because let me just say this doll was not cheap.
Does it let me see it real quick? The face.
Does it look like Margot Robbie to you?
Nah, not really.
So here's the thing. Well, I don't want to get too in depth with the dolls. If you want to hear all about my opinions on dolls, go to my TikTok, pglover2447. I talk in depth about this one, but they have more coming out. I did already order one. I ordered Weird Barbie. Probably will order one of the Kens, either the cowboy one or the Kenergy one. But anyway, did you guys see the Barbie movie?
No, but the cultural impact of that movie is honestly insane.
The cultural impact, yet you guys haven't seen it. So that's your homework. Everyone who's watching, your homework is to go see the Barbie movie if you haven't, or we're blocking you from the podcast.
Wow.
And tell us what your favorite part is. That way, when we go in to watch, we can like watch out for that. Because honestly, like you said, the cultural impact of this movie has been massive.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of when the last time we had a movie that has been that big of a thing.
Never.
Well, it's got like merch from this, like a scene in the movie. Apparently, he's like wearing a sweater that says,
I ordered it. I am
Knuff.
Knuff. I ordered it. Literally the day I saw it, I was like, okay,
oh my goodness.
Ordered.
Yep.
So I have 3 packages from Mattel Creations coming, one of which will be a surprise because it'll have to do with an older item that I've had on here before. It's not Barbie movie related. Anyway, the soundtrack also is so good. Charlie XCX, Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice, Lizzo, which she's in hot water right now, but you know her song is good. Billy, when did it end? I cried the second time I watched it. Not the first time, but the second time. Anyway, the movie is, I think, really good. It's just really, like, it's a lot deeper than you thought it was going to be. And, yeah, if you want the merch, I will let you know that none of the dolls resemble any of the characters, any of the actors, which is really upsetting because they're pretty expensive for that. But Margot Robbie's at least looks somewhat similar, whereas the rest of them, nope. But like I said, if you want more information on that, go to my TikTok. But yeah, go watch the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I wasn't sure whether to go or not, and now I'm feeling like shame that I haven't gone and seen it. Like,
you should.
Everyone at work is like,
we're gonna go watch it together as a podcast.
yes, and
right now.
Yeah.
Bye. We're done.
See ya. We're gonna go eat pizza. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna feed Patrick.
Yes, I'm hungry.
This man
Patrick's
is very hungry.
So hungry, dude.
Okay.
But
He's hangry tonight. So if y'all see him snap and like go for our throats, I hope you have a sound for that.
Yeah. So we're going to go take care of that. We're going to take a small break. But when we come back, we are going to talk about writer's block tonight. And we're going to have an in-depth conversation about it. Maybe you've encountered it. Maybe you have not. If you haven't, you will at some point. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. I've triple shot or double shot energy on this episode, so I'm full of life.
You were just talking about your heart and how it's probably fine. It ain't going to be after that.
No, it's even better now. It's doing handstands and flips.
Patrick, you have no room to talk about hearts.
Bro.
I don't. But
Don't make
that's
him
why I'm
laugh too
saying
hard.
it. That's why I'm saying it.
What if, you could fake it. You could fake us out at any moment. You know that, right? Just you start laughing and you go, and then we're like,
It's
you're
not like that. Like I don't. It's not like a
You
heart
went all
attack.
like, old man, like heart attack. I'm over here imagining like a flopping dead fish out of water.
It's not
Him,
like,
like,
that.
having a
I was
seizure?
in it for like 13 hours. I was fine.
you were in it for 13 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's,
Which is why they had. Oh,
That's a
they had to
problem.
shock my heart back into rhythm. By
Oh,
the way,
good.
like I literally had to be like electrocuted.
I told you I could have done that for free with just a car battery and a crescent wrench.
Or
And
just tell him a bad joke.
I cried. I was put under, but I still did feel the aftermath, and it was very strange.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
We should open every segment talking about it.
Every
Think that-
segment.
Yeah. Like it's like a continuity
I mean, if
thing.
it's about me. Speaking of about me, if you notice here behind Dale, there's a sweet little picture of me
We'll put it up
just
too.
posing.
In post, we'll put it up.
Oh,
so
I
people
thought
can see
people
it.
could see it. Oh, if people can't see
If
that.
people can't see it,
Actually,
People
this
can
is
see
just
it.
Dale. This is just Dale's background 24/7.
Yeah.
Totally, because I'm super obsessed with Patrick.
In the desert.
We knew that.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, so that would have been perfect time for that, but
Oh, I was thinking.
see, I'm
never
missing
mind.
it.
Come on, DJ Overheat. You're missing your marks, your cues.
Oh man, I could have done it there. Dang it. Anyways, so
Writer's luck.
Writer's Block. Writer's Block. Dale and I are musicians.
Located on 84th Street in that block, and that's where all the writers go. And you're good. All right,
Yeah,
episode over.
Just head over there, and you're fine. I have experienced it. Mine comes in patches. Like I'll have like a year of writing nonstop, and then the next year will be like every now and then I'll have like a 6 to 8 month slump where it's like no inspiration, or I'll have inspiration. It's like when I have the most inspiration, I can't write. But when things are chill and good, it's like then I suddenly think of all this inspiration that I had. It's like having that introspection to look back on things when things are chill.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that, like, when you have inspiration, you can't write?
Because you're still in it, right? Like you're still in whatever trials that you're going through. And so when things are more calm, you can look back and say, I overcame that chapter. But I mean, it doesn't mean, I've written songs in the midst of things, but it's like you can always tell when that is. Like I wrote one song that was like in the heat of the moment, and it was like the most angry song. Like it was, and it wasn't great. But
it probably helped with your emotions.
it
right?
helped. It did help. I have since taken it down off Spotify, but
It was on Spotify.
it was on Spotify, man. It was on Spotify.
Man, you must have been angry for a while.
Yeah.
To go all the way through to like release that.
Yeah, I wrote in high school.
Hackers out there, go find it and send it to me. I want to hear it.
No, it was not great. I mean, I was in high school. It was one of the only songs I wrote where I sat down and I wrote lyrics first.
Ooh.
And so
Yep. The
Yeah.
lyric driven songs,
Was it
man.
about someone?
it was about someone in high school. He and I had a falling out about a certain topic, and it was like I'm not gonna go into it, but basically we had a disagreement about something, and he put out a song about it.
Oh.
And he did it with band members that we were in a band with. He quit the band we were in, and he reformed the band with the same band members, excluding me, and then wrote a song about me in that band, about the situation.
Oh,
Y'all
the
had-
pettiness.
Of course, there were diss tracks going around.
Yeah.
At a performing arts school. Mm-hmm. I cannot. That is so
Yeah.
funny.
I-
I'm
Ran-
living for this.
Random
drama.
question, but did y'all ever have like Yik Yak or any of the apps like that?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
At the performing arts
yep.
school?
Yep.
Can you imagine like going on there to like just like, oh, what's going on, and then finding whole like poems just ragging each other and tearing each other to shreds?
Someone did
Oh,
a
my
bomb
goodness.
threat of our Sadie Hawkins dance on Yik Yak.
Oh my goodness.
Which, by the way, Yik Yak was like 4 colleges, which I don't understand because I didn't know nearly as many people in my college
yeah.
that
Oh, yeah.
I did in high school. Whereas, like,
Yeah.
if someone was writing something juicy on Yik Yak on about someone in high school, I'd be like, "Ooh, this is good." If someone was doing
Yep.
it in college,
It was dangerous in college, wasn't it? It was like people were on there trying to meet up or something, and like
Probably.
Yeah, sounds
What's
about
new?
right.
very weird.
VCAC was a weird
So I'm like invested in this actually.
Don't be. It's. I mean,
I
we've since obviously made up. It was a long time ago, but for a while, it was. You know, I
Is this band the one you talked about before?
maybe not.
Okay.
But yeah. So like.
I can't wait to get the scoop after.
Oh goodness, no. But yeah, that was an example of something I went through, wrote about it. I didn't regret it for a long time, and then recently, probably a couple of years ago, I was just like, man, that. Even though I felt like I was justified in writing it, I still have negative emotions about
and
it.
honestly, like you. Even though I kind of live for the drama and I think it's funny, and part of me is like, oh, should have just kept it up. It would have been funny. But the other part of me is like, yeah, I guess professionally, it probably isn't like good to have like a diss track as one of your first songs.
Yeah,
I mean, it just depends on how good the diss track was.
True.
It wasn't that great. I mean,
never
some of
mind.
the things, like some of the lines in it, I am still kind of proud of because they did like reference his track a lot.
Yeah.
Dang, that's
And so-
crazy. That's such a. When did you graduate high school?
I'm trying. It
sorry.
was 2014. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right for the time.
Yeah.
So what I want to know is how good of a diss track can you write now?
Amazing. You want to know what else we did in high school? With this same dude that I was like beefing with, we used to be like super, super close, right?
Yeah.
And what we would do, he had a little home studio. And so our friend group, it was like 9 or 10 dudes, right? And so what we would do is he'd write a beat, and then one person would go in and write a diss track about somebody. And then the other person would come in on another verse and write a diss track about the other person, and they wouldn't be able to hear it until the track was finished.
Nice. That's fun.
And we would just do that. We'd pick two, like we draw out of a hat or whatever.
Yeah.
And we just like, oh, I got Graham. So, oh man, I can roast Graham. So we'd write a roast track about Graham. I go in, say my lines about him. He would say his about me, and then he would like produce the whole thing, add sound effects, post everything, and then just like release it to us. And then it was always so funny, dude. It's back when people like had a personality and didn't get offended at everything. It was like, I know you're not being serious. It's a joke, right? So
if you want to hear us write diss tracks about each other,
I mean, it's an
I've
idea.
done it before with my friends.
I've done, I've got some practice on it. So
Yeah, me too. So Dale, you're actually at the disadvantage.
okay.
the disadvantage.
I'm at the diss. I like that.
So he's at an advantage at dissing.
So Dale, like when you have writer's block on
Yeah.
your diss track, how do you cope with that?
So when it comes to writer's block for me, I don't know. I feel like in some ways I'm the same as you on some of your outlook on that, David. In some ways, I think I'm different. As far as like whether you're in the middle of it or whether you're after it, like when can you write? Like to me, the inspiration does come from those hard times, right? I mean, that's what inspires us. And sometimes that's when I need to let something out the most. And I've had some great songs. Some of my favorite songs that I've written, some of have been in the middle of situations when I felt like, man, wow, this is not it. This is not bougie. This is not great. But then you get out after it, and I don't know. I think it depends on the type of situation that's going on as to whether it works or not. Because if it's just a situation of constant stress, I can't write to save my life, right? I haven't written a lot recently just because I've been, with everything that's going on, whether it's work and grad school, a lot of like continual stress and pressure to me leads to I can't write. Even if I feel like I need to and feel like I want to, I can't write in those until I have that break.
Yeah.
However, if it's more of like a impact kind of like hard time, like an event happened or something happened, and you're like, oh man, that's or you break up with your friends and you have go from diss tracks to diss tracks kind of thing. That to me, I can write a whole lot more on kind of hard times or good times that are based on events rather than continual constant pressure.
Go stream To the Top of Tiger Hill by Dale Shack.
That one was written. When I was sick as a dog with COVID, and I was feeling heartbreak. And my melodramatic self thought that night, "Wow, my heart hurts worse than this COVID right now," which was false. But that's what I thought that night.
This COVID is
And so I sat in this very room and wrote that song. Yeah.
That's a good song.
Thank you.
It's a good
Very
song.
good song. I've actually been to Tiger Hill, and
Have you?
It's emotional every time. I think that one thing that's really cool is like when there was a period for this past year from about December until May where are you good? What is happening?
I just was putting her back on the stand. I was
He's
worried it broke.
redecorating.
Yeah.
The desert has a decoration now. What was I saying? Oh, so I had like a period between May and December and May where things were just not great, and I didn't have a chance to write. Like I didn't even touch a guitar for like 3 months.
Yeah.
And it just made it so much better when I actually was able to sit down and write again, because I had been keeping all that in, and and it just reminds you just like fall in love with music all over again when you're able to do that. When you're away from a while, and it's not even because you choose to be away, it's because you're kept away from it, whether it is work or grad school or whatever.
Yeah.
When you do come back, it's like,
It's refreshing.
this gives you, my favorite part about making music is writing a song and then building it. Like building a song is so fun to me, and just listening back to what you've built. And we talked about this before on the show, like every moment, like every song you write is just, it's a snapshot of how you're feeling in that moment. Mm-hmm. And that's why I never like to, like, if I'm working on a song, if I'm writing a verse or a chorus, I'm not going to come back to it the next day and finish it. I'm going to finish it that night because it's a snapshot. I'm going to come back and revise it later. But I want to capture that feeling in that moment.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of my songs kind of, I learned this early, like they would kind of lose the continuity to them, because I would write a really good verse and a really good chorus, and then verse 2 and chorus 2 would not hit the same.
Right.
I'd record it on different days, whatever is going on with my voice, like something's different. The energy's different.
Yes.
And it's not just your vocal ability, it's also your emotion in that moment.
Yeah.
And so a lot of artists, they don't understand that, like, oh, well, I can just kind of like recreate that on the spot.
No.
You probably can at some point, but it's going to be difficult. So I would encourage you guys, if you're starting a song and, you know, it's 3 a.m. and you're like, I'm so tired, I just want to, you know, try and get to a point where you've like come to a good stopping point in a song, because you definitely want to capture that, or at least like record it on a voice note or something, so you can, that's why I always, if I have an idea, I record on a voice note. I look like a psychopath standing in the corner of my work, just like whatever, singing a melody or whatever, because I don't want to forget that. I don't want to be trapped. Like the worst feeling ever is having something really good and then forgetting it.
Yeah.
And then some would argue like, well, maybe it wasn't that memorable in the first place if you can't remember it. But I think like, I don't know. I don't really subscribe to that type of belief. I think that like ideas can be valuable, and then like they can be gone if you allow them to be gone. Like, and if you don't somehow capture them. But that's my take. What are your thoughts on that?
The first thing I'd say, I want to jump off what you mentioned there as like as a producer in that mindset, working with an artist, or if you're the artist working with a producer, right? The producer's job is, yes, to capture the song. You know, you have your team, you have your engineer, your assistant, you have all the team there to capture the song. But really, like when it comes to recording vocals, especially, the job, like the primary job, at least to me, of a producer in that moment when you're trying to record that vocal, is to get the artist to give an emotional take. It doesn't have to be a perfect take. You're not looking always for a pitch perfect take of every vocal, of every time you sing that song. What you need is delivery. What you need is to convey the emotion that the song was written for. whether that's a sad song, whether that's a happy song, whether that's an angry song, whatever that is, you have to deliver the emotional content that the lyrics and the music is needing, because you can make a beautiful song and have all the instruments in place and have every like little last note in place, and then if you come to the vocal and you're just like the song's going to be a failure. You've missed the point of trying to convey the emotions with the lyrics, because that is what most people listen to when they listen to your music. Now, I know I'm different in that, and we've talked about that in the past. I listen to music first before I ever listen to the lyrics. But even still, you're still listening to the musical aspects of the vocal and the emotional delivery, and you're like, wow, this was good. You ever heard a song, and maybe this is a question for you, Patrick, but specifically because you love music of a lot of different kinds, have you ever listened to a song and you're like, they meant that? Like they delivered, they performed it, they sang it, however it is. And you sit there and like are just struck the first time you listen to it, like, wow, they went through that. They meant that song. They meant every word.
There's a song called Manhattan by Sarah Bareilles, and one of my first like, wow, I'm really sad songs. And just like would be on all of my depression drives, everything like that. And there was years ago, she had a like about album. It's from her album called The Blessed Unrest. And she went song by song and would talk about each song. It's no longer available on Spotify. I literally can't find it anywhere. So if anyone knows where it is, let me know, because I'd like to listen to it again. But on Manhattan, she literally talks about how there was one more verse to this song, or one more chorus, or one last few lines, and she started crying while she was singing it, and she just couldn't finish it. And if you listen, you can hear where she like gets choked up on the last line where she says, "'Cause I can't have you." And oh, it's just so good. It's just so good. Everyone go listen to that song.
Yeah.
But yes, so that is a big one that comes to mind, and then I'm sure there are other ones where you can just hear it even without the artist explaining that, I couldn't record anymore.
And so, when you go in to record your vocals, whether you're the one setting up the mic and plugging it in and everything too, or whatever that looks like, you have somebody else there to do it, doesn't matter. When you go in, remember that you're delivering that emotional aspect that the listeners are going to understand and appreciate and want and look for. It is so, so important that is part of your music. Even if you're singing a song that has nothing to do with you. Mm-hmm. Maybe you've been given a song by somebody else that somebody else wrote, and you're like, I didn't go through this. Can I really sing this? Well, yes, you can. Because part of also being an artist is a lot like an actor, too. Mm-hmm. Even if you're didn't write the song, you are performing. Thank you, Patrick. That's a great word for that. You are still performing that song. So get out there and perform that song. Mm-hmm. If you're doing a cover at a show, perform that song. Everybody knows it's not yours, but show out. And
usually, like, even if it's a song that you're like, oh, I don't relate to this, there's usually some way, somehow, that you can find it to relate to your life.
Yeah, I think a lot of struggles for artists is like when they get in the booth, especially if they don't have a lot of experience in studio settings, is they start to get frustrated with their performance, and then that takes away, or they start to get frustrated with technical things like pitch and timbre and tempo and all of that, and the frustration, I'll go ahead and say it takes away from the performance. You may think you had an amazing take as far as pitch, but guarantee you the emotion may not be there still, even if you had a take where you hit every note right. So I think if you're in that situation in the studio where you're starting to get frustrated, and I've been there, like I'm there a lot, you take a break. Just take a break, take a minute to walk around, and then when you come back, and first of all, I'll say this, just like athletes, they practice so much so that the muscle memory takes over, so that the nerves don't take over, right? So like when Steph Curry's shooting threes, like he's done that so much that the pressure of the stadium and the playoff game or whatever, it's not going to matter because the muscle memory takes over, right? So you need to practice your craft so that when you're in those situations, the muscle memory takes over as far as your vocals and your pitch and all of that, so that when you're in that situation, you can reinvigorate yourself and put yourself back in that emotional moment of when you first wrote the song. So like for me, I know I wrote a song called Times Like These. It was back in 2019, I believe. And it was just kind of about a relationship that I had writer's block to that point. And then I wrote that song, and it was like we had all gone to the beach with a friend group of mine, and it was like we were all with each other and hanging out all the time. And then I just had this moment where I could go out on the porch and just have a guitar and just have a second, right? And it was just basically about a relationship that, like, it was so terrible for me, but there are times like these, I miss that person and that feeling of being with a person, you know, like, and just trying to, it was just basically about, like, in a toxic, you can realize a relationship is toxic, but still look at it and go, there were moments there that were, like, special and that shaped who I was. And still, like, I'm, like, getting emotional talking about it because, like, I would not be the person that I am without this person. And so, like, when I sing that song, like, that just kind of runs through my head, you know. And my buddy, he always kind of messes with me. He's like, you always close your eyes when you're performing. I'm like, yeah, because there are times when I need to, because I can't, if I look at something like around the room, it's going to take me out of where I am, you know, in the middle of a verse, just singing about something that in that moment was very important to me and still is very important to me. Because if the song is really meaningful to you, that travels into later in your life. So kind of taking that back into writer's block, I guess we got sidetracked a little bit.
I would like to say one quick thing. If you're an artist and you're going in to record your vocals and you're doing it DIY style, it's just you in your room, there are two really easy things that you need to do and should do when you go to record your vocals that deal with your performance. The first one is know your lyrics. I know that seems super simple, but don't read your lyrics off a page.
Yes.
Know them.
Yes.
That has to come from your mind. It has to come from your heart. It can't come from a page because, trust me, as an engineer sitting in a room with an artist in there, and maybe you can't even see them. Maybe they're around the corner and you can't, like, actually see them. You can hear when an artist is reading from their page. You can hear when they're reading from their lyric sheet. So know your lyrics, know them inside and out, make them a part of you. And the second thing is, especially if you're in a room by yourself, recording yourself, make the vibe fit. I can't underestimate how much making the room and changing the room or dressing, you know, getting nice clothes.
Candles.
You know, candles, right? Candles. I use candles and LED lights in here.
Smells,
I have decorations.
smells,
whatever that looks like. Make the room fit the vibe of what you're going for. Because can you imagine trying to, like, I don't know, do to sing a song that's really sad about a breakup in, I don't know, like a hospital closet, like a janitorial closet? I don't know why my mind went there, but that's like the opposite feeling.
Actually, I disagree.
It's like he's tried.
I feel like I could easily cry in a hospital closet.
Like, don't get me wrong. There's things you can cry about in a hospital
last week.
in a hospital closet. But if I were over here singing about, like, a breakup or, I don't know, something like that, maybe my dog, like, died. Well, maybe it's a vet. I don't know. But right. But you get what I'm saying, though.
Mm-hmm.
Make the room fit what you're going for. So know your lyrics and set the vibe of the place. Set the vibe to something that's going to work for you.
Yes. All those are amazing things, and we take those with you. I mean, these are all amazing tips. I think
someone very fond of themselves.
Huh? Yeah.
We're amazing. The show's amazing.
It's almost like I've done it for forever.
We'll give you some more tips.
Be confident in yourself also.
Yes.
But kind of steering that back into, like, writer's block. If you guys are experiencing that, just know that everyone goes through it. Just don't think less of yourself as an artist because of it. It's not because there's a lack of, like, ability. Like, I used to think that. It's like, I guess I'm not, like, supposed to do this because I can't think of any more songs. Maybe I kind of hit my ceiling. It's like, no, you just, every day's a new day, and as long as you love music and you are listening to your inspirations, you're going to get some sort of ideas.
So that's where I would like to bounce off and like apply something a little more practical. I think just I do not write music, but I have written things before. Like I had to do screenwriting class. I really enjoyed it. My screenplay is still just sitting there waiting for me to pick it back up. So maybe one day. But as far as creativity, like I like to do a lot of things either on TikTok or just other creative things, DIY projects, stuff like that. And I will go through waves as well. But one thing that really helps me is when I watch other people who are creative. And so you'll hear people who are like screenwriters and they'll be like, I watched this movie and I have not written a movie in over a year, or I have not picked up my script in over a year, and this made me pick my script back up because the writing in it was so amazing. And I'm sure the same goes for music, and I'm sure the same goes for, well, and for me, I know like when I am watching, even just scrolling on TikTok, and I find someone, I'm like, oh my goodness, like they're doing a really good job and they're inspiring me, and I need to like get back up
Competition.
and start and start like, you know, doing my projects again or posting or whatever it be. So definitely, like you said, keep listening to your music, but when you will find something that you're gonna be like, oh my goodness, like this person did such a good job and that's gonna inspire me to do the same. It's not just about your life experiences. While that is a huge part of it, there's also inspiration literally all around you in the media that you consume constantly.
And you know, and I think you're absolutely right, Patrick. You know, we've talked a lot about like what it is, you know, what is writer's block and like going through it and everything. But I'm glad that you're kind of bringing us around to kind of a little bit of how to deal with that. And let's talk about that some more. Let's take a quick break and come back and talk more about how to get past writer's block.
Welcome back, everybody.
You keep doing that so loud.
I know. I was doing the YouTube.
He's
greeting.
excited.
Here, I'll turn.
Don't.
I'll turn your.
I'm sorry.
Don't
hangry.
kill his vibe, man.
I told you I'm
She's-
hangry.
He's hungry. We gotta feed him. Hangry.
You are hangry because you like the loudest of the three of
It's
us.
true.
I know.
Over here calling him out for being like.
Sometimes the laugh, you hit a pitch that I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
Yeah.
Welcome back. We are talking about writer's block. Last segment we talked about kind of what it is, how we find ourselves in those situations, what to do to sort of alleviate those situations. But now we're going to talk a little bit more about how to navigate through those situations. We had mentioned, or Patrick had mentioned last segment about kind of getting that, seeing other inspiration and that kind of motivating you, sort of like the competition aspect of, not even competition, but it's like a natural thing inside of us, right? Like if we do something, you know, and we feel like we do it at a pretty high level, we see someone else do it, we're like, okay, I got to step up, right? And also, like you had mentioned, you don't always have to write from your perspective, you know? I think it's really cool to write from other people's perspective.
Oh, yeah.
As well.
Oh yeah.
There's
Big
a
fan.
song that I'm going to be releasing on my acoustic EP, which will be coming out September 1st for those who are interested, which is right around the corner. There's a song on it called Undecided, and that song is from two perspectives. It is from the perspective of the guy who doesn't believe he's worthy of a relationship, and it's all the chorus is to the perspective of the woman who's telling the guy you are worthy of that, and like trying to kind of like balance the equation a little bit. So you can definitely write from other people's perspectives. You don't have to like all of it's subjective. Music is subjective, right? And so how you feel may not be how someone else feels, but it's like you said, it's an encapsulation of a moment, of an emotion, a thought process.
Just be careful when you're friends with writers, or especially if you're in a relationship with a writer. Lauren has a whole song about it, Writer in the Dark. Bet you're going to rue the day that you hurt a writer in the dark, or whatever she says, because this man has told me about people that he's written about, and I'm like, that's scary.
But see, you don't know that unless I told you. Right.
Yeah.
And so it is very true. There's I think two different aspects to writing in somebody else's perspective that I don't know if you specifically alluded to those really, but I think there's two different aspects you can talk about in that regard. One is writing, about you see somebody else's perspective, right? You see something that somebody else has gone through, and then you write about it. I've done that with a number of my songs. And I really enjoy that because that means you don't have to personally go through that, but you can still witness it and like, man, ooh, that was rough, or wow, that was really cool, and you can write about that. The other thing you can do in a different perspective, depending on your genre especially, is write in the how would you say it, in the narrative, in a narrative different perspective than somebody else. Like I think about like roots oriented music, especially like you get into stuff that's more like bluegrass or Americana or like the old school kind of stuff. It literally does not have to be first person. You can write something third person. Like I'm thinking about Coulter Wall, I think has a song. No, that one's first person perspective.
All American Girl by Carrie Underwood.
But yeah, you can work that in there where you have a third person perspective, where it's obviously not you. I think of like Gordon Lightfoot. If you go back to like the 70s, he was famous for writing songs that were just stories that weren't him. In fact, maybe he even named the person whose kind of perspective it's from, but it's not his, obviously not his. And that can be a good challenge, like if you're stuck. If you're stuck and you can't come up with inspiration for your own stuff, or like you don't know how to write anymore, even if all you do is use this as an exercise, kind of going back to the practice thing, you can use that concept as a practice. Like, okay, I want to write a story or write a song about so-and-so over here who goes through this. And you can even throw it in the third perspective. He, she, they,
Yeah, and I think kind of the next step from that is like personifying certain things. So like you find a situation like, I don't know, you write about the rabbit and the turtle, like the, what do you call it, the hare and the turtle.
The tortoise and the hare.
Tortoise and the hare. You figure out a way to apply that to your life, and then you assign each character a role, and then you find clever ways to, navigate around that. But that I feel like is kind of like, I don't know, I would say that's like a seasoned part of writing. I mean, I personally haven't gotten there yet, but I would love to. That's one thing I'm trying to work on, is like really getting my lyrics to putting more mystery around it instead of just being like, I don't know.
If you want a good example of that, of personification in music, honestly, an artist like Charlie XCX, like Patrick brought up earlier, is a really good case in point for that, because a lot of her songs are about fast cars.
Oh,
right?
Bobby, you're so fine, you blow my mind.
But so
Jump
much.
into the driver's seat and put it in the speed drive. Shout out to you,
Yeah.
Bobby.
Anyway.
It's a song about a car.
It is, though, right? So many of her songs are about cars, and we just lost Patrick behind me.
We did.
No. I was so beautiful.
Not really. There we go. Patrick behind me is back and next to me, and I need to turn my chair. Anyway, but yes, so many of hers are personified about cars. I mean, they're about cars, but are they really? Are they really about cars?
Yeah.
We all know it's something deeper than just, oh, this car go fast.
Well, didn't that, what's her name? Maren Morris? Didn't she have one called like 80s Mercedes or something that she wrote?
I don't know who that is.
It's like a country artist.
I know the artist, but I don't know the song.
I'm surprised that you're referencing a country artist.
Yeah, me too.
We don't do that.
We don't do that here.
Not here down here in South Nashville now.
No, she, I think it was called like 80s Mercedes. It was one of her more popular ones that was like on the radio and stuff. But she was like basically using her like an 80s Mercedes to describe herself, but it was the car. So it's like old but still vintage, you know.
So try that out. Like, try personifying yourself as a car.
Yeah.
Tried and true.
Go watch Cars, the Disney Pixar film,
that
and
is pretty
get some
good.
inspiration.
Yeah. Right about Maynard.
Life is a highway. Did you say Maynard?
Maynard?
Mater?
Is it Mader?
Oh, it is Mater, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Like
been a while.
to Mater?
Mater? I was saying it like he would say it.
But
Minor.
But I mean, what Patrick was saying earlier and bringing up cars and all this other stuff is true. Like, you can find inspiration from other people, and it doesn't have to be a ripoff. It doesn't have to be a carbon copy. It doesn't have to be a clone, and you don't have to think about it as being that either. You can take inspiration and make something your own. You know, whether it's taking a half of a phrase and like, wow, that's an interesting half of a phrase. What if that was in a completely different context?
Yeah.
And then write a song about that completely other context. Or taking, you know, maybe it's a rhythmic beat, right? Rhythms are not copyrightable, just so y'all know.
Yeah.
Take a beat and turn it into something else. Now, the musical aspects can be copyrightable, so be careful what you do there.
Yes.
But rhythm is not copyrightable, right? Otherwise, everyone that ever did the whole classic rock, dum dum ka, dum 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 ka, would, like, everybody would be sued, and we wouldn't have music.
Well, the lawsuit was like, "Gotta Give It Up," Marvin Gaye and
Oh yeah, and Robin Thicke.
Ooh, that was rhythmic, but it was
was.
same musically. But Marvin Gaye got a huge. They settled, didn't they?
No, they won.
That's what I'm saying. Like they
Yeah.
got.
Who?
They didn't settle out of court.
Who
so
won?
so the Marvin Gaye estate sued
I don't need to know the whole thing. I just need to know who won because I don't
Marvin
like
Gaye estate.
Good, because Robin Thicke, I don't like that man.
You don't have to like him, but he was in the right in that lawsuit. And but Marvin Gaye's lawyers
Blurred
knew
Lines.
what they did.
Don't get me wrong, this song is a bit of a banger. Okay?
That's the song.
But-
it's about.
That literally is the
I
song.
believe it.
Yeah.
But Robin Thicke, you need to pay for your actions of writing that song. That song is so gross. That song is so gross if you listen to it.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I did not understand.
Yeah.
But now I do. And I listened to a podcast with him, and I was waiting for him to like apologize and be like, yeah, I shouldn't have like objectified women that way. Nope. Didn't even mention it. So good.
Well,
Good on
there
you,
are a lot
Marvin
of
Gaye.
like rap songs that I objectify women that don't get talked
Oh
about.
yeah, I 100% agree. It's just, that song was charting.
That was yeah.
So that's where the difference is. to me.
Right.
All that being said, though, like in that lawsuit, according to the laws of the U.S., Robin Thicke didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Where he made his biggest mistake, though,
He
was
told them he was listening to the song as he was like.
not just
writing
told him that
his-
he was listening, but he said and admitted that there was a couple Marvin Gaye songs that were his inspiration for this song.
Yeah.
And that's where they got the idea. Inspiration. We can sue him. We can make money.
Period.
And then they did.
Yeah.
Period.
So be careful what
So
you
don't
say publicly.
copyright. Yeah. Don't steal other people's.
Don't steal other people's
work.
music.
Unless it's Robin Thicke's music.
Yeah. Be original.
But all that being said, you can still take inspiration from other people's music because ultimately everything's based off like the same 7 notes, right?
And speaking
Well,
of
12,
someone
whatever.
who I would 100% take inspiration from if I were an artist, let's get into our artist segment. Unless you guys have more to say.
I can tell you're excited, so let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, fine. Stop
Hey,
begging
hold
me.
on. You're being too loud over there. You're introducing this way too loud.
I
It's
would
hurting
never
my
say
ears.
anything like that. That's rude. Okay, so today for our artist segment, last time we talked about Miley Cyrus and we had a couple dolls to represent. I don't have this doll, unfortunately. There's not one that exists. Olivia Rodrigo, who is very relevant right now because she is releasing her new album Guts in September. I'm so excited. Okay, she's Filipino. She was born in February 20th, 2003. Why did I like write her full on bio?
You did.
2003. That's
Stalker.
crazy. She's so young.
What?
Wait, what?
She's not
She
even
was
old
born
enough
in
to
2003.
drink. She's not old enough to drink yet. Wow.
You didn't realize she was that young? You know her first album, she was like 17.
Yeah, she is young.
I mean, I knew she was young, but like,
What
it
is this?
feels like that was a while ago.
Yeah.
It was 20 years ago, so she's 20.
I mean, like
Okay,
her first album, it felt like that was a long time ago now.
so
21, I think.
she started out in this Love You, Olivia, but this terrible show called Bizaardvark on Disney Channel that had Jake Paul starring in it as well until he was kicked off.
Goodness.
And that was around like 2016. I will say there is a banger in there called The Comeback Song, and me and my cousins would sing that all the time, still reference it to this day. It's so funny and stupid. And then she was in High School Musical, the series. And she starred in that, and that was in 2019. That was a like Disney Plus exclusive. Look, have you guys seen that show? No,
I haven't.
I
No.
know you haven't. I don't know why I asked.
When did it air?
2019.
Why?
Yeah, we're still watching Disney.
Yeah.
It's not a Disney Channel show. It's Disney Plus. Anyway, And so it was a good show. I will say it was very cringy though. Like very cringy, very much a theater kid show. I would have ate it up as a middle schooler, and I still did as in 20-year-old when I saw it. She had a single from there called All I Want though, which is really, really good. It trended on TikTok. No, another good song. It's found a boy, thought he was a star. Something like that. I don't know. Okay. So she goes through all that, and then in 2021, January of 2021, she releases her hit single Driver's License. So, like I said, there was BBM before Barbie Movie and ABM after Barbie Movie for me. I feel like there's the same thing. BDL, ADL, Driver's License. Because there was quite literally a shift in the universe when she released this song. It broke Spotify's record twice for most daily streams ever for a non-holiday song. And in a matter of 3 days, it got 15.7 million streams. And then the very next day, it was already up to 17 million streams. So then it hit another Spotify record, first song to ever hit 80 million streams in the matter of a week. That's crazy. When are y'all gonna release a song that does those numbers?
Soon.
September.
Yeah.
He's gonna be Olivia Rodrigo's second album.
It's gonna be like ABC license though. It's gonna be like my bartender license instead.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, that's funny.
I don't get it.
An ABC license. Alcohol license.
Oh.
It's gonna be.
You should be on a podcast. That was funny.
Thanks, man. I'm trying.
So after that, she releases another 2 really big singles called Deja Vu and Good For You. Good For You also like just took over the earth, especially TikTok. Yeah. I will say that she released this. It was 2021. So in 2020, a lot of people downloaded TikTok because what else was there to do? And so she released it at such a good time too, because there's songs that are great for TikTok, which we've talked about on the show about how important TikTok is and getting your music on there. But so when she did this, like those songs, everyone was doing Driver's License, Deja Vu, and Good For You. Like everyone. So in May of 2021 is when she finally releases her debut album, Sour. And once again, there is another shift where, boy or girl, there is an inner teenage girl that just walks out of everyone who has listened to this album. Have y'all listened to the full album?
Sour?
Yes.
I've only
Not
ever
the
heard
full.
Driver's
I've
License
heard
and then, like one or two
a bunch of
the
the songs on it though. She did the Tiny Desk concert and she did a bunch of them.
Okay, so we're now hiring new co-hosts for.
My goodness, you barely said a word during the writers thing.
That's not true. I gave a whole thing.
Hey, I'm just clapping back.
You gave like a paragraph and a half, and we wrote like 2 pages each.
Hey.
And
Look,
to each their own. And in our strengths, he's weak, and when we're weak, he's strong.
Yeah, I've listened to maybe 3 Olivia Rodrigo songs.
You need to listen to more because we were talking about it the other day, and you said you really liked it.
There's some of it that I've really enjoyed.
Like, it's just, you actually should go. First off, the album is not very long, and I know you were talking about like, I want to get better at writing lyrics that are like a little more meaningful and deep. And the thing that I think that captures so many people, especially like when I'm talking about this like inner teen thing, like go on the internet, look up any like meme about Olivia Rodrigo or any tweet, and so many people will talk about like, this brought me back to when I was 17 and every emotion that I would feel, and how like she is just so, her opening to the album, which is so good, is brutal, and she is so brutally honest about her feelings as a teenager.
Yeah.
And just like, this is what my life is like, and her lyrics are so direct, and in a way it's almost like, oh well, like she's not necessarily adding a lot of depth. She does, I think she has in her newer songs, but I think what's great about it is that she's doing that, and it's so relatable because it's so easy to just take in, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is bringing me back. And the aesthetic of the songs are also very just like teen and pop punk and early 2000s, and she's just hitting all the right notes.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think, because obviously, people know that she's on the younger side.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see her evolving well out of this? Like, because that, when she gets older, obviously she's going to have to sort of adapt her music a little bit.
I think so. I think that she has, so when she announced that she was making a second album, I was like, okay, like, I'm excited, but I'm also worried because the first album is so good. I'm not sure how this is going to go. Like, is she going to be able to, hit it the same?
Sure.
She released Vampire, which we'll get into that.
Yeah.
And I think when we decided we were going to do this episode, we were supposed to do this episode a while ago, and it was the same day that Vampire released. I was like, hey, y'all, so let's talk about Olivia Rodrigo, because I've already listened to her new single 5 times today. So, in my very professional pop opinion, yes, I think so. Because she also just released another song a couple days ago called Bad Idea Right. Guess what else has been on my on repeat? And Bad Idea Right is also just so, like, straightforward, but, like, so fun and, like, goofy. And she even said it started out as a joke. And it's so just, like, early 2000s. It reminds me of, like, The Waitresses, but also Kesha, but also just, like, an early 2000s movie. And it's just, it's all so good. So, like I said, the inner teen girl awakens in everyone. I remember this.
I like how that's like a line that you specifically wrote out.
No, I did because the next line, there was this tweet where this guy, it's so embarrassing. He, like, dressed up like Olivia Rodrigo's cover album, and he tweeted it out, and he said, "Where's my teenage dream?" And everyone was like, he was like 30, and it showed.
Oh, good.
And everyone was like, it was back in the 90s.
Oh my gosh. It was.
Oh, it's funny. Anyway, that album debuted at #1 on Billboard 200, and it stayed there for 5 weeks. That's crazy. It is the longest reigning #1 album by a female in 2021. And then she had a Disney Plus documentary exclusive. I didn't watch it, but I heard it was pretty good. She also had a collaboration with Sour Patch Kids. It's just something, like, I love when celebrities collab with, like, foods. And it was, like, a full purple bag. And then along with that, she had, like, this whole car wash that she did in LA that I wanted to do so bad. And I think part of the reason why I think she will be successful in the future, if she continues on this path and keeps with kind of the same team, the marketing for her is so well done.
Yeah.
The Sour Patch Kids, I almost said car crash, the car wash, and just all of these, like, it's just in your face, and you can't really escape it whether you want to or not. And
I have.
Yeah.
I've not seen any of this.
Well, I'm some of that stuff, yes, but, like, you obviously knew who she was, and you are not the target of her kind of music.
Audience. No, but like, you can't escape it.
Yeah, I agree that she's like that she's kind of playing on that. Not playing, she's genuinely doing it, but like that sort of nostalgia that people have from their teens, like late teens. As far as, like, being in a relationship, like maybe like in 8th grade or 9th grade or 10th grade, just sometimes people minimize that. Like, it's, that's just a silly high school relationship. And it is, but at the time, to that person,
it's the most important
thing in the world. And so people are, like, listening to the music and being like, inside being like, that was important. That was valid. Mm-hmm. That was, and that's, I think, the appeal of her music right now.
Right. Dale, I don't think that her marketing is necessarily on the level of, like, Taylor Swift eras, but I do.
You're gay. You're gay.
Wait, what?
Okay, Taylor Swift.
Can I just explain this real quick? So
Yeah.
we've gotten a lot of backlash about talking about Taylor, and
Who is an inspiration for Olivia.
Is an
so this is relevant. This
inspiration.
is relevant.
In fact, she has some writing credits on this recent album. I was just looking it up.
Oh,
Taylor has writing credits on 2 or 3 of the songs.
okay.
she's a great writer. So she's never here to defend herself when we talk, and so whenever any of us say anything about her, she's gonna respond.
You're gay. You're gay.
Do you know what that's from?
No, not a clue.
Okay, so in her
Yeah, what
first,
song is that from?
Oh, you don't? Okay, it's from her first album called Picture to Burn. Or no, her first album self-titled Taylor Swift, which is the only one that she hasn't done Taylor's version of, that and Reputation. And there's a song called Picture to Burn that was like a pretty okay single, and it goes go ahead, tell your friends I'm obsessive and crazy, that's fine, I'll tell them you're gay. By the way, I hate that stupid old pickup truck you never let me drive. Anyway, she sang that, and then when it kind of started gaining more traction, it was like, no, we do not need to be saying you're like using gay as an insult. So they changed it to, that's fine, but don't mind if I say, by the way, which is just like, so people have kind of like picked it back up and been like, oh no, like this version's funny, and kind of reclaimed it. And so now there's like a clip that's gone around on TikTok and Instagram of her just saying, you're gay, over and over and over again in like different
like
performances.
acoustic settings.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple of full band. It's just a compilation. I don't
Yeah,
know why. That
it's
was
funny.
so funny to me. I sent it to
Yeah.
Patrick. I was like, he's gonna love this.
But there's a couple like Teardrops on My Guitar, like she swore in it, and like that was cut. And so like you cannot find those versions streaming or anywhere. Like the only people who have it are people who have her CDs or like have super old iPods where they downloaded the original versions.
Wow.
So yeah,
I
it's
had
pretty
no
interesting.
idea.
It
Yeah.
is very interesting.
Anyways, sorry.
No, all good, all good. Like I said, she's relevant to Olivia. Speaking of relationships and getting back at the man, so part of the reason why Driver's License especially, and really her whole album did so well, is because a lot of them were about relationships, but specifically she had a little love triangle going on. So do you guys know who Joshua Bassett and Sabrina Carpenter are?
I've heard the name Sabrina Carpenter, maybe.
Okay, yeah, she's a pretty big singer now. She was on Disney Channel in Girl Meets World, which was the reboot of Boy Meets World.
Yep.
I met her once. Shout out to you, Sabrina. You said you loved my shirt, and I said I love you.
Oh goodness.
And I have a little cutout that my aunt made me of it. I need to bring it in. That should be my show and yell. But anyway, so Olivia and Joshua was also on High School Musical, the musical, the series, and he was this co-star. And I think they were only in the first 2 or 3 seasons. There's like 4 seasons now. But so all these are Disney kids, and there was like some rumors going around like, oh, they're dating, no they're not. So in January of 2020, Olivia and Joshua Bassett are together. July of 2020, Joshua Bassett is seen with Sabrina. So yikes.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, but things are fine. Joshua is talking really positively about Olivia. He talks about Driver's License, and like he says that he likes the song. But in the song Driver's License, she sings, "Probably with that blonde girl who always made me doubt."
Yeah.
Sabrina Carpenter is blonde.
Ooh,
Yeah. What? Okay.
You know, I was thinking totally off top. Well, kind of off topic here. Patrick and I were talking the other day that I think you made the joke about we should make a compilation video of all the times you sang on this podcast. And I think tonight alone, you've racked up the number to
Yes.
at least half a
Yes.
dozen.
I hope so. That's my goal. I just want to be a singer, but like not put in any of the work. Does that make sense? Like, can I just be like thrown in? What do they call that? The planted pop stars. What do they call those? Industry plant. I want to be an industry plant.
Huh.
If you are looking for an industry plant, hit me up.
We will need to have a vocal replacement, but yes. He has the character.
Not true. I can work with some auto tune.
Some severe auto-tune. And we're back from a quick tech break. Patrick,
Okay.
you were talking about Olivia Rodrigo.
Yes. So remember, Joshua said that he likes the song "All Is Good" back in like 2020-ish. In January 14, 2021, after Sour has released, Joshua Bassett releases a song called "Lie, Lie, Lie." There's speculation that it's about Olivia Rodrigo. And the music video is like he's like in a car and he's like all these lights are going. He's like kind of bending out the same way Olivia Rodrigo was in her music video. So it's like
Ooh,
in February of 2021, Joshua Bassett supports Sabrina Carpenter's new song, and her song is called "Skin." And there's a lyric in it called "Maybe you didn't mean it. Maybe blonde was the only rhyme."
oh,
That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. And then she says, "Don't drive yourself insane." She
Well,
did kind of eat with
so-
that.
That would
this
make sense
is-
though, because blonde wasn't even the rhyme on that line. It was girl.
So, is this the diss track, Olivia Rodrigo's version of the diss track we were hearing from
So-
David and your band and the bands earlier?
Probably.
Here's the thing.
Except mine was not as passive aggressive. It was just
I
aggressive.
feel it's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, let me get into this. In March, so this is a month later, Sabrina addresses the rumors and says that she barely knows Olivia. She's only met her like in passing, and that the song is not about her. Okay. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, was this a PR stunt? I mean, if it was, it worked really well. But I'm almost wondering if it was like a PR stunt and then it got out of hand and like feelings got actually hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Because, let me see. Okay, I couldn't find it, but I'm pretty sure Joshua Bassett, either in a Zach Sang interview or a different interview, he discusses how he got numerous death threats from people, how his mental illness has severely suffered from driver's license because people hated him because they're like, "You ruined Olivia's life," da da da. And his music was not nearly as popular as Olivia's. And Olivia, I think his biggest thing was that Olivia didn't say anything and wasn't like, "You guys need to like chill, like don't be attacking him, da da da." And so I don't know. There's,
That's a lot of pressure to put on. What, she was 17?
17.
Either way you look at that for the
Yes.
guys. I'm not saying that what was done was right because I have no idea what to.
Yeah.
That's a hard situation to navigate when you're already just being 17, and
Yeah.
much less having the whole world listening and watching
And involved
every single
And
moment.
opinions or
That's a very difficult situation for
Right.
both of them to be in.
Yes. And but like I said, I honestly think it was maybe a PR stunt. It's like, okay, well, she's going to release her album, and then Joshua Bassett is going to release his song, and then Sabrina's going to release her song, and it's like, oh, like all three of us will gain benefits from it, but really only Olivia got the biggest benefits by far.
Yeah.
Sabrina's song, I think, did decently well, and I think Joshua's did okay. I mean, his music career wasn't huge anyway, so it's, I don't know. But All Is Good, about a year later, in July of 2022, Olivia and Joshua reunited on High School Musical, the series, season 3. Carpet, that title kills me every time. And so then flash forward to now. Like I said, she teased her new song Vampire and Guts. When I wrote this was the day that This was. I said, as of yesterday, Sour now ranks in the top 10 most streamed albums in Spotify history. So that was as of like a month or two ago. And then, like I said, what I think is really good about it is it's short, it's relatable. This also of another award or record that she broke. Her song, "Hope You're Okay," which is I think the last song on the album, is now the most streamed, least streamed song on an album, if that makes sense. So it's like, if you take all the albums that have the least, like every album has a least streamed song. Her least streamed song on her album is the most streamed. I can't speak. Most streamed song. Y'all know what I'm saying. Look it up. Anyway, since then, she has released Vampire, and that also has been doing super well. It is such a good song. I haven't watched the music video, but I need to. Reaction video, possibly. And she also released Bad Idea Right just a couple days ago, and that has also been on my on repeat, both of those songs. They're really good, so go check them out. And that was the history of Olivia Rodrigo. I love her. Yeah.
Boom.
Can't wait to buy her album.
Yeah, I think she's going to do really well, man. Because she's just got something that just like raw thing about her that's just so...
Like, she's just not afraid to just lay it out there.
Type of energy. And, I mean, like, this album, like the Sour album, it was very... I don't think there was a huge production budget on it because a lot of it was like... it sounded like early, like you were saying, like early 2000s.
Yes.
Sort of like an Avril Lavigne type of, like more stripped than that, but like sort of that kind of vibe. And so once they start adding more production elements, I'm really curious what this album is going to do for her. And if she's going to it's going to launch her a little bit more, or if she's going to kind of come back to the pack.
Yeah.
So I'm interested. I always love when like young artists, because this is like the next generation of artists. Yep. And I think we're starting to see a turn in like music culture. And it's starting to go away from like, I don't know, there was like a pop rap fight phase, and I think it's starting to kind of head back into the direction of like the like punk rock, like
a little bit
emo-ish type feel.
Well, like Billie Eilish is also part of that generation.
It's kind of a dark pop kind of thing.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that's very horror inspired as far as like soundscape is concerned.
Yeah.
Like Billie Eilish, like Halsey, like and the third one is not super popular, more on the punk rock side definitely. But like Maggie Lindemann is one of my favorite like punk rock artists that's recently been coming out with some stuff, and it's definitely very heavily like horror pop inspired.
Yeah.
When did it end? All the importance. I'm sad again. Don't tell my boyfriend. It's not what he's made. This
guys,
song is ruining my vibe.
You need to subscribe, because how else are you gonna get this? There's no other way
this
to
is the
receive
only
this.
place where my music is released. Someone make an album of all the times I'm saying on the show.
Guys, we were so happy to be back with you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Go subscribe, go follow us, all the things, and we've got some really cool content coming out for you pretty soon. Lot more artists coming your way, so stick with us, and we will see you soon.